Hello, comrades! Welcome back to Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. Right, so let's take a little bit of a rain check on Grainsky at the moment before I jump into to talking about exactly what I want to accomplish over the course of this episode. Right, my name, of course, is Over the Potato. Did I mention that? I can't remember if I did. Doesn't particularly matter. Anyway, Grainsky is looking brilliant. We are around about 50% of the way through growing all of these crops. Once we start growing the crops, we're going to see some real activity in this area. We're going to see the food factory. We're going to see the agro farm. We're going to see the livestock farm, and we're going to see the slaughterhouse. All hopefully get their butts in gear and start working properly, and everything is going to be great. Right? That's basically what we're waiting on. It's going to be a little while before that gets set up. So, what we want to do over the course of this episode, firstly with Grainsky, is to set up a bunch of transport routes to transport all of the goods that we're going to be manufacturing here. We want to transport them to the shopping centers and the supermarkets across the entirety of the region. So, there are pretty much, I think there are only two. Well, there are three, actually. Yeah, I mean, this one is the big one, the Petrograd Shopping Center. That's the big one. I can't remember if I built another shopping center over here. I don't think I did. Did I build another one in, Kolgradsky? We've got one shopping center right over yonder, which is accessible by everyone apart from prefab flats over 8 over here. I should probably fix that, actually. That's a little bit of a problem. Yeah, that ain't so hot. That ain't so hot at all. And there doesn't really seem to be much that I can do about that at all, actually. So these people, what, just aren't able to get food? Yeah, 27 citizens unable to get meat, unable to get food. Okay, so in the first instance, I don't think that we can actually do that. I think the distance is just a little bit too far. Yeah, that's so irritating. There's no way that I can perhaps slip a pathway through here. Slide into the DMs, so to speak. Yeah, there is a building in the way. Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? That's fine. Those people are just going to have to go... They're just going to have to go hungry for now. Unless there is any way to connect up that over there. Yeah, I know we're going to be building some new infrastructure, but that doesn't particularly bother me. It's pretty cheap infrastructure. Does that rectify it? Oh, gosh darn it. It is so flippin' close. It's so flippin' close that it actually hurts. It is so close. The range of the supermarket is... It must be like meters that we're talking about here. In fact, you know what? Maybe if I legitimately try and, yeah, do something like that, will that allow... That totally does it. That totally does it. So now we're actually able to get everyone from this flat right here over to the supermarket. Can you flippin' believe it? I sure as heck cannot. Anyway, so that's one of the things that we want to do. We want to make sure that all of the supermarkets have got all of the wonderful stuff that we're going to be producing ourselves. Same with the pub. The pub is not something that I'm super bothered about at the moment, but you know, we can worry about that later. We also probably want to set up a transport route to move the beer over to Shipsky somehow. Although that is going to be a heck of a drive, I must say. We'll worry about exporting the surplus later. For now, the priority absolutely is just to get the basics to where they need to be so that we can just get it all set up. That's pretty much the plan. Right, so that is operation number 1, and that will come into that will come into effect once we actually have some progress in the growing in the fields. So we don't need to worry about that until the crops actually start to come good. Now, the secondary mission, which is going to be the I say secondary mission, it's the primary objective for this video, is to try and get oil production set up. Right. So there is a two-pronged approach to what we're going to do here, right? A two-pronged approach. As you can see, the vast majority of the oil is in the north. What is that? Northeast. Yeah, the sort of center northeast of the map. It's all around this area. However, if you'll recall, in fact, I'll take a little bit of I'll start up here. Yeah, let's start up here, and then we'll go down the coast. So, as you can see, the oil is almost all spread across this island, this sort of peninsula area. I mean, it would probably help me illustrate it a little bit better if I got out the oil rig. Yeah, so a little bit of oil under here, a little bit of oil under here. In fact, well, a lot of oil under here. This is a very, very oil-rich area, as you can see. Should be oil. There's definitely oil around here. Yeah, there's oil around here. It's everywhere, right? It's everywhere up in this area. It's all around here. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that the oil is here, but the population isn't. We don't have the finances to import people at the moment. We don't even have the finances to really do anything at the moment. The rubles are sort of a protected currency because at the moment they're, you know, buying all of the resources in that we need to feed our people. So, here's my plan. It's a two-stepped plan. The first plan is we need to find a location to build a refinery. And as I've already talked about, I'm kind of not in favor of importing any people because I just cannot do that. So we need to find a population center where we can build it. This is a very, very small population center, and you have to bear in mind, for an oil refinery, you need a heck of a lot of people. So what I was thinking is that that's another tiny little town. Although slightly larger. I'm thinking that we can capitalize on the fact that there is this town of Kobe? Kobe? Is that how you say it? I don't actually know. It's got a flat with 86 workers in, which is pretty big, actually. It's pretty darn big. It's also relatively near the train line. That's right. You heard me correctly. It's near a train line. Now, there's no way to trade with the Western countries over yonder. However, there is a train line that takes us all the way over. Actually, tell a complete lie. There is a way to trade with the Western countries. It's just over there as opposed to behind us. There's also a way to trade with the Soviet countries, and that primarily is what we want to do. And of course, the fact that this train line is already here means that we don't have to go to the massive expense of shipping, shipping the oil a massively long distance and moving it to the border on tracks that we build ourselves. The problem with this is that we are in the very south of the island at the moment, Is this an island? I have no idea. We're at the very south of the map, and that's a problem because the oil is in the north. The oil is in the north. So, this is why it's a two-stage problem. And what we want to do in the first instance is construct an oil refinery, get that all set up. I mean, an oil refinery is pretty darn expensive, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, $300,000. That's a quarter of our remaining finance. $300,000 to set up an oil refinery. It's something that needs to be done. It's something that absolutely needs to be done. We need to get an oil refinery up and running as soon as possible. But what I'm thinking is that we make an oil refinery and then we start importing the oil to make a quick buck, right? So we set up all of the infrastructure that we need. We start exporting refined oil or refined fuel and bitumen from oil that has been imported, right? You with me so far? That means that we don't need to worry about pumping the oil, because pumping the oil from the north of the map down to the south of the map is going to be an expensive affair. It's just going to be a very, very, very expensive affair. And we definitely want to do it, but for now, I think we need to import our oil, we need to refine it, and then we need to sell it. Comprende? Is that all making sense to everyone? I do indeed hope it is, because that's the sort of plan for this episode. Right. So the town of Kobe, I'm gonna call it Kobe. Sure. Town of Kobe is it's a lovely place. It would be such a shame if there was to be a massive oil refinery plonked down on your doorstep. However, I hate to break it to you, that's exactly what's gonna happen. A small shopping center, a small grocery store, and a small store. I think, yeah, we're gonna get this set up right now. We need to make sure that everyone has the niceties of life. Yeah, the bare niceties. That's exactly it. So let's get it all set up. We want to auto-purchase goods. We'll auto-purchase them for now anyway in rubles. That will change. There we go. Brilliant. And then what else do we need? We need a pub, of course, to placate everyone. Make sure that everyone's nice and chill. We'll stick the pub down over here. Sure, so this will set us back, like, at maximum $15,000, $20,000. It's not a big deal. We'll get a football playground. We'll get that set up over there. And there's actually a church already here. I have talked previously about, you know, unlocking the cheat menu and building some churches. But I'm not particularly bothered about it. I think at the moment we're managing fairly successfully to keep people reasonably happy. Now, in order to keep costs down just that little bit more, I'm gonna get some pathways. However, the pathways are going to be pretty poor quality, I must say. There we go. Now, are we gonna be able to have access to all of? Is everyone gonna be able to get everywhere that they need to get? They are indeed. Brilliant. So that's within walking distance. Apart from the tennis field, or the football field, whatever, football playground, everything is accessible. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So let's get another one out over here. Yeah, over here. Brilliant. Okay, so that'll set us back a little bit, but nothing too major, right? Now what we really need to do is we need to think about where the oil refinery is going to go. That's all of the quality of life stuff, with the exception maybe of a cinema, but whatever. I you know, give or take on the cinema, I'm not particularly bothered. Now, this is a little bit more of a problem because we need to ensure that wherever this goes, it needs to be ideally it needs to be further away from the town so that we're not just polluting the air next to the town and you know, and getting everyone sick. However, it needs to be close enough to the border. What about over here? I mean, this seems like a pretty A-okay location to do it. It's near a road as well, so we'd be able to import people along the road. I think that's a fairly good bet, to be honest. I mean, let me not auto build just so that we can get a brief plan in place, because we're going to need to make sure that it's in close proximity to the rails, which it obviously is. We're going to need an oil fuel loading and unloading, and that can go right over here. I mean, we're only going to have one train running on this line for now, because, I mean, frankly, I don't think we're going to be able to afford two. The good thing about putting it here as well is that we're going to be able to get another oil loading / unloading station right over here, where we can, you know, where we can unload. In the future, anyway, we can unload the oil that we transport from the north of the island into tanks, and then it can be processed. So we are going to need some fuel storage. We are absolutely going to need some fuel storage, and we're basically going to need two tanks. We're basically going to need two tanks, one of which can go right here, the other of which can go right there. Yep. Okay, so that's good. Let's get a pipeline. Now, ideally, we should be able to connect this all up with just one stretch of pipe. There we go. Okay, so that's great. So that's where the output is gonna be taken. As I've already highlighted, at the moment, we're planning to import our own oil. I don't love it. However, it is the reality of the world in which we live. We ain't got the money. We ain't got the money to do what we want to do. It just is what it is. Right. I also need to place a bus stop in the center of town, or as near to the center of town as possible. Alternatively, we could just use a train. We could just use the train station that we've already got. I mean, the train station is, I mean, it's in a pretty bloomin' good location given the circumstances. I mean, it would only cost us about 30,000 rubles to get. It would only cost us about 30,000 rubles to get a train. And how much would a train station actually end up costing? If I was to auto build with dollars. Yeah, just a small train platform. $6,000? $6,000 is nothing. Right. I think that's what we do. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try I'm going to try very carefully to take out a very limited stretch of track, very limited stretch of road as well. Although the road connection is no longer required if we're not going to be connecting up a bus. There we go. Very limited, very controlled. We're going to get the absolute cheapest railway that we possibly can. A little bit of a misconnection there, but that's okay. That's okay too. That's fine. And that connects up just brilliantly. Cool. In fact, that doesn't actually need to be connected up. You know what? I'm going to save my pennies. There's no reason that these two tracks need to be connected up at the moment. It's not like the game simulates trains that travel through this area anyway. We're literally going to be using this stretch of track to export the resources, and we're going to be using this stretch of track to deliver the passengers. That's pretty much it. And what we can do, this is super sneaky. What we can do is we can put a depot in the middle there, and then we can connect up. Okay, that's not going to work. We can put up a depot in the middle, and the depot will be able to access both sides of the track. See that? See what I'm doing here? That's right. It's pretty nice. We will convert. We will get the trains right onto the leftmost track. The leftmost track is the only track that I am bothered about right now. As you can see, I'm trying to make sure that each and every little bit of track that we build is as cost effective as possible, because we're going to need all of our money to make sure that this goes off without a hitch, and probably even more money than that, to be fair. I mean, this will be a mess to fix once we have the money to import oil, but that's okay. That's fine. I'm super not bothered about it. Right, so that's all going to auto build, I believe. Yep, we shouldn't really worry about that too much. So let's see how many thousands of dollars that ends up taking. So, you know, just over $1.2 million we had at the start. And, oh, also, yeah, we need to build a footpath. We'll build a gravel footpath. Ah, sure, it costs $500. It's cheap enough. And the train station is all plumbed in perfectly. We need to make sure that we get power over here. Is there a power line connection over here? There is a power line connection over here. Thank goodness. Okay, I should have checked that before we started, but that's okay. How much would it theoretically cost to build all of these pipelines? Well, I guess we're about to find out, because I've just agreed to it. Right. That will cost $19,000. That will cost $19,000. Brilliant. That will cost $25,000. That's cool. Right. Let's buy our train. Oh, this is a problem. This is a real problem. So we're actually only able to buy... trains with rubles. It's not a problem. It's not a problem, but it is a problem. It is a problem, but it's not a problem. The reason that it's not a problem is that whilst all of this is going to be... that's another town with people. We might move some of these people across. Also, you've got a train depot over there. That's kind of cool. That's very cool. Oh, look, I didn't even realize there's a customs house. There's a customs house right over here. Very, very nice. Very, very cool indeed. I mean, we're not going to need it, at least not for a while. But it's nice to think about. Yes, thank you, by the way. Thank you. I would like to just take this opportunity to thank everyone who commented in the comments saying, Orbital, you haven't managed the forklifts properly. You're not waiting until they unload at the cargo harbor. It's true. I didn't have that box ticked. However, I now do, and they still do this. I'm pretty sure this is a bug. I mean, what's the point? Why would they leave 0.32 tons of steel consistently? I don't know. What I think is happening is I think that there is like an internal buffer within the cargo harbor, or maybe even it's got something to do with the voltage. I don't know. I think that there is like an internal buffer somewhere, and it just isn't working for whatever reason. It's a little bit annoying, but you know what? I can deal with it. Anyway, the point that I was really wanting to make over here. Firstly, thank you everyone for commenting and making me aware of the situation. I mean, I was aware of the situation, but thank you for trying to find a solution. Anyway, what I was going to say is that, you know, whilst we're building this oil refinery, massive oil refinery, we are still going to be making a little bit of money from steel production. So, you know, it's not all lost on the ruble front. Anyway, there we go. Right. Are we building this oil refinery? We ain't building the oil refinery yet. It's 400,000 rubles. It's going to be such a large expense, but we have to fund it. We have to fund it. We have to do it. Unless there is some magnificent way to move 219 tons of concrete and 168 tons of gravel out here, we just have to do it. So let's immediately commit to doing that. I'm not going to buy the trains until we've got a few more rubles in the bank, so to speak. But that's okay. In the meantime, what we can actually do is just get a power transformer linked up. Now, I don't suppose that there's any way that I'm able to... Yes, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to import... I want to import a very limited amount of power. And probably... I don't know how much electricity this oil refinery consumes. Is it much? Consumption at maximum production, 12 megawatt hours. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it also doesn't have a direct connection. So we've got two opportunities. Well, I say two opportunities, two options. One of the things which I probably want to do is just connect up, you know, a very, very low megawattage power cable to this area so that everyone over here has got power. That's definitely something that we want to do. Why wouldn't we? Also, I should reduce the amount of electronics that we're selling to our citizens over here. There we go. Yeah, so we're gonna want a low megawattage power substation over in this area. Yeah, we'll just zone it right now. We might as well, right? We can at least zone the substation. We don't need to do anything with the power quite yet. Although we want to get something in motion. It really depends. It really depends. As I say, we've got two options. We can build a power transformer right here. 12 megawatts is such a large... 12 megawatt hours of power is such a large amount of power. Max power consumption per day is 36 megawatt hours. Okay, here's what I think we're gonna do. I think we're gonna import power to the... We're gonna import power to this refinery with the medium voltage wires, the best level of medium voltage wires that we can afford. Yep, we'll come right the way into the center, actually. Yeah, so the best level of medium voltage wires that we can afford. Come there. Come there, sure. Best level of medium voltage wires that we can afford, and then the really, really cheap stuff. The really, really cheap cabling can be used to supply the village. I say really, really cheap cabling. It's not super cheap. I'd certainly like it to be cheaper. But it's a necessity, unfortunately. The people demand power. There we go. Okay, so that'll wipe us out for what, $15,000 or something, but I mean, a worthwhile investment, maybe a little bit more than 15,000. A worthwhile and necessary investment. And then we'll set up the importation of power as well over here. So we will import a very, very minor amount of megawattage to make sure that everyone is sufficiently happy. Mostly it's about keeping the people in town happy. Kind of by the by. Anyway, the population of this area not large enough in and of itself to sustain an oil refinery, but that's okay. We'll get to that in a little bit, and it'll probably mean moving some people across from Petersburg because I mean, look, there are people over there, and I want people. I want people to work in my oil refinery. That's literally what I want. That's literally it. Right? Yeah. Still issues with forklifts. At this point, it's kind of like I don't want to change things around. I tell you what I could do. Here's an idea. On this station, load 80%. Yeah, let's try and load 80% of a full loaded cargo, and we'll see if we're able to unload in one single load. Even though it means that everywhere should be taking less. Is that everywhere that I've done? not here. Yeah, everywhere. Everywhere is now going to take 80% of cargo rather than 100%. So you should pick up, I don't know, what, like 1.6? Right? I mean, that's still not happened. It still hasn't been updated. Yeah, load 79%. Okay, so you're gonna load 79%, which means that you're gonna take about what, 1.4 tons of steel, and then we will go and see if this has got any effect on anything. Just whilst we're waiting for the ship to load, and also for the oil refinery to be built. Right, it's this one. It's this one that we're looking at. Are you gonna unload everything? Brilliant, you do. Okay, it looks like we might have found a solution. There's a couple of legacy dudes. No, we haven't found a solution. We have not found a solution. It's still a bit of a problem. Right. So, as it turns out, it doesn't really matter what happens or what I do. They're gonna do whatever they want to do. Right. Try and load 100%. I'm just trying to think of anything that could be causing this this bug, really. It's a funky one, isn't it? It's a funky one. Right. Just modify the settings. Leave wait until unloaded on. But untick all of the pickup stuff and untick all of the unload stuff. I'll leave wait until loaded on there, both there, sure. Yep. 100%. Anything to try and sort of jump start the game into working properly. Yeah, so far, no joy whatsoever. I mean, one of the things that I do want to do is I want to set up a direct factory connection between, you know, the open storage and the cargo harbor. However, financially, don't really want to do that right now. I mean, I can live with the forklifts doing a bad job, at least for now. Right. Good news, everyone. Very good news, everyone. We have an oil refinery. We have an oil refinery, and that is what matters. Right, so what we need to do right now is try and get some more Russian rubles. That is absolutely what we're after. How much money is on board this boat? I mean, there is a fair chunk of change. Fair chunk of change on this boat. Let's tell the boat to go to the next stop. Yeah, that's very important. Very, very important that we get this plan in motion as swiftly as we possibly can. You'll note, by the way, that our outflow of dollars has stopped completely, which is good news. How are we doing manufacturing steel? We're missing iron. If I find a train that is unable to move on this stretch of track, I'm going to go absolutely spare. Okay. All right. Turns out I don't need to go spare. You've just run out of iron ore. Oh, yes. We should actually that's a fine amount of All right. Well, it's a good thing that I'm over here. It's a good thing that I'm over here because I mean, this is a oh, goodness gracious me. I will say, Transport Fever does signals much better. At least, like, if you're gonna screw me on, like, the whole, like, block thing, at least let me place a bit of thingy there. Come on, dude. Like, at least let me place signals in weird, funky locations. There we go. Okay, disconnect that. That'll fix the problem. Hopefully we never have this issue ever again. There we go. Cool. All right. Yeah, we will sort of re-signal the track at some point later, but really, frankly, it's not a priority right now. As long as the trains run, as long as they run consistently, as long as they're working, then that's fine with me. That's totally fine with me. All this time, we have been slowly but surely working on our road, which is quite nice. We probably should also resume construction of those buildings over there, but that's not really a priority right now. How much steel have we got on this train? 55 tons, 25,000 rubles. Not too bad at all. Right. Also, let me check on the Grainsky fields whilst we're waiting for that boat to get to the border. How are we looking? We're at about 75% of the way there, I would say. Some of the smaller fields as well, also looking pretty darn good. Couple of tractors. We've got our lorries. We've got our lorries ready to go. We only have one harvester. I don't really think that that'll be a problem. Lorries, in my experience, tend to be more of the, I guess, the vehicle that is in high demand. You're the coal train. I want to check on the iron ore train. Wait, you are the iron ore train. You've got iron ore on you. Brilliant. Okay, I was just having a little moment there, but that's fine. Right, let's stick another signal in here. I know I said I was gonna deal with the signals later, but we want to make sure that there's pretty much continuous service along the entirety of the track so that we don't have any slowdowns. Slowdowns cost money, and money is not a resource that I have much spare of at present. Right, so our spending priorities, new vehicle type available. I mean, that's wonderful, but thank you, just go away. Don't remind me about how little money I have. Spending priorities for the moment, we need to spend $37,000 on the train. So that's important. We're going to purchase resources using dollars because I cannot afford to purchase oil without dollars at the moment. So let's approve that for purchase. Brilliant. We're only going to get whatever it is, like 20 tons of the stuff. That's fine. Everything here is powered up. We're ready to go. I'm going to set you to store bitumen, and you can store fuel. Yes, I know the ratio of fuel produced to bitumen is different. That's okay. I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. I think we'll be limited with the amount of oil that we can actually make. But the important thing is making sure that it's out the door so that we're able to turn a quick profit, really. The other thing that I really want to consider doing is manufacturing vehicles, importing all of the necessary components to make the vehicles, and then just selling the vehicles on the market. That is definitely a money-making opportunity right there. Right, you're gonna go here. Brilliant. And then the iron ore train comes through. Loads and loads and loads of steel workers. Loads and loads and loads of steel workers. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Tell you what. Let me just reduce that to make sure that we're not spending any dollars unnecessarily. And then let's get some iron ore turned into iron. And subsequently into steel, which is the thing that I care about more than anything. More than anything. Okay, good. Just making sure that whole process is going tickety-boo. And what do you know? Our boat has arrived at the border, and we're cleaning up right now. Brilliant. So, how much am I going to realistically be able to afford to buy in trains? Obviously, we need one of those. Literally just one. And this thing is going to have the, fairly simple job, really, of going here to here. I mean, that's it, really. We do need to get a diesel filling station. I didn't consider that. I didn't consider a diesel filling station. Yeah. That is a little bit of a bummer. That is a little bit of a bummer. That's going to cost me a little bit more. That's going to cost me a little bit more. Did I say that this was going to do fuel? Okay. I was just wondering, is there any way that we can keep costs down by perhaps building a diesel filling station that can be fueled with our own fuel? Might be an idea. Let me give this a shot. Right. Auto build using dollars. Yep. And then let's do something like this. Maybe it looks a bit funky, but I think it might just work, actually. Yeah. And which side of the rails are you going onto? You're going to this side. Yeah, so go do that. And then... Is it really worth, like, building a pipeline to there? How much would that even cost? $17,000? As opposed to just importing fuel of our own? I mean, you know, like, long term, it's absolutely worth it. Right, we're obviously going to go as high as we possibly can, because why wouldn't you? It's free. I say it's free. There's no such thing as a free lunch. But this is pretty free. Right, let's get that built. So now we've got a diesel filling station as well. It's within the... No, stop. Rubles. Clear all. There we go. Brilliant. Building does have a power supply. Fantastic. Okay, so you're going to just continue to... Look at there's a red dot that is above the location of where it needs to be because of the because of this building here. Right. Anyway, the point is that let's store fuel over here. Let's store bitumen over here. And that way we're going to be able to... That's really irritating. That is really, really irritating. Fine. Anyway, we're going to be able to supply the trains with our own fuel, which is kind of nice. It's a nice little bonus. I've created this little tracky area, so everything should work. What we might need to do is just put in a signal. Yeah. And then a signal in over here as well. Brilliant. Just to say, only one train can be in this area at once, which is totally fine. Right, so... You're coming with a load of 16 workers? Is that it? Only 16 workers? Kindergarten and schools. I didn't build kindergarten and schools. And as such, a couple of people have left. That is a bit of a bummer. But it's a thing that we can deal with reasonably quickly. Right. Kindergarten. Sure. And honestly, I think we'll just stick the school down next door. Yeah, stick the school down next door. Stick it there. Right, get that built. See how much hurt that gives me. Okay. It's looking reasonably good. Does that work? There's no staff at the moment, but that'll get fixed up in just a second. Still no kindergarten, but everything should be accessible for everyone, right? Pretty sure. With the exception of one house over here. 2 houses over there. Is there anyone even lives there? Yeah, there are a couple of people there. Yeah, a couple of people not able to enjoy culture. But that's totally okay, because I don't enjoy culture anyway. Right, move that over there. And let's see if we can try and get a crossover point to happen just a little bit sooner. There we go. Okay, so, how many workers? The amount of workers that we've got waiting over here is truly shocking. We're going to need to fix that up really, really soon. We are processing oil, though. We are processing oil. And that's important. We are processing oil. It's costing us a little bit of money, but it's gonna be totally worth it. Right. Anyway, give me the lowdown on what it's gonna cost us to buy a brand new train. It's gonna cost us 46,000 at least for the locomotive. How much of this boat is unloaded? Got another 36,000 rubles. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna take the plunge. Cargo wagon and how many tankers? I mean, this is a better value for money tanker, frankly. We might be able to buy one more tanker on top of this. Although, to be honest, I think 2 tankers probably will be fine. We might just buy a smaller tanker as well. Right. We'll deal with that in a second because we don't need to worry about that too much at the moment. We still have $500,000 in the bank, which I must say is just not half bad. We are turning oil into fuel and bitumen very, very slowly, but it is happening. It is flipping happening, and that's the important thing. How many workers do we have waiting? 0 workers? Where's everyone going? Right, do we want to build a cinema? Do I really want to build a cinema? I don't really want to build a cinema. For $26,000? Screw it, I'll build a cinema. Sure, you guys can have your cinema. I will build you a cinema, but you better not complain. That's right, it's accessible by absolutely everyone. Right in the center of town. I thought as much. Right, so that's that. What else do we need to do? Well, what we really need to do, what we really need to do is get more workers over here. That is what we're in desperate need of. That train is practically empty. That is a joke. One worker by himself turning oil into fuel and bitumen. And also we are out of we're out of steel. That's okay though, because we got a lot more steel. We got a lot more steel still in storage. We still have a lot of steel in storage, which is totally fine. Totally fine. Right. What do I want to do now? What I want to do right now is come over to Grainsky. See if we're harvesting yet. We are indeed harvesting. Have we made any progress on the food front? No. We're not exporting any food as of yet. Fine. We're not exporting any meats. We don't even have any grain. So this is the first row of harvesting. We got 5 tons of crops. Cool. We'll check back in a little bit. Let's go back to Kobe. And what we're gonna do over here in this tiny, idyllic, middle of nowhere town is we're gonna build a massive, huge residential building. That's what we're gonna do. What do I want to build? 174 workers. I mean, 32 in comparison to 18,000. I mean, you'd be daft not to do it, wouldn't you? Let's not get citizens, because as I've previously highlighted, I don't want to do that. We don't have the money for that. Let's get one of those down. Let's get it built. That'll only set me back $18,000. And nobody lives here. But that's completely fine, because we're about to relocate the entirety of this town. Pretty much. Yep, over to here. There we go. Just clean out that building. Look, I'm doing everyone a favor. It may not look like it, but I'm doing you all a favor. You're going to a place that has got power. You're going to a place that's got power. How exciting is that? I think we're going to need another one, actually. Another big old flat. Of course, now if we're going to be bringing this many brand new people into town, it sort of begs the question, do we have enough food capacity? Do we have enough electricity capacity? Do we have enough everything capacity, really? Where do we want to do it? We can do it over here. Yeah, do it over there. Alright, I mean, things have never been dicier. But at the same time, I'm actually like, ooh, that was... In fact, I was always saying, ooh, that's a big expense, but it's not, because it's just cheap roads. In fact, they don't even cost anything. It's the best thing. It's the best thing about dirt. It's free. Right, so you should be within walking distance of pretty much everywhere that matters. Yep. And then what we're going to go and do is we're going to go right back across to Petersburg. I keep wanting to say St. Petersburg, but it's a completely different Peterburg. Right, and then we're going to basically just uproot everyone from, you know, an area where they've probably lived for, or their families probably lived for hundreds and hundreds of years. There we go. And we move everyone out of here. How many people have we got? 145 and 189. Right. Let's unpause and let's get to it. You're able to access everything. 100 and something workers without a job. I mean, look, you should all have a job now. You should all have a job. You should all just go to the train station. In fact, you know what? I'm going to tell everyone to go to the train station. That's how convinced I am that this is the right thing to do. Everyone who is anyone who is capable of working, go to the train station and get taken to work at the oil factory. There we go. Look at that. Workers without a job, it's going way down. You know why it's going way down? Because we're never, ever in a million years going to be able to fill this oil refinery with 500 workers. Doesn't matter, though. Doesn't flippin' matter. That's good. Okay, the boat is on its way back, ready to get loaded with more and more steel. That's brilliant. We need a few more 1,000 Russian rubles. The reason why is that we're going to need a couple of trucks in order to transport all of the products of here. Also, I don't have any sawmills, so we probably just got, yeah, a bunch of bits and bobs over here. Right, so grain storage. Can I can't find a path from building to garage? Do I need to connect that up directly then? I probably do. It's probably best if we just ditch that. Ditch the factory connection. Okay, we're not able to ditch the factory connection directly. Ditch that, and then just set that up as a direct connection. There we go. Cost me a little bit of money, but that should just work, right? We should just see all of the grain moved into the grain storage. Kind of hoping that's the case. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Oh, look, people are harvesting this this field. Cool. Now, we don't need people to harvest, but it's kind of nice. In fact, that's very, very nice. That's because the bus stop is within walking distance of the fields. Very cool indeed. Okay, so here's hoping that we don't need to rebuild any of this structure, but that's okay. Also, the fact that we're seeing our dollars go down, it's a good sign. It's a very good sign. Very, very good sign. It means that we're buying in oil in order to process more of it. We're not making tons and tons and tons of refined materials, but that's fine. Right, so what we're gonna get you to do, we're gonna get you to go. I need to make a little connection over here. We're gonna get you to go over to Vitrob, and then we're gonna get you to come back, and you're gonna unload over here. You're gonna load up over here. And you're going to wait for a full load of whatever takes your fancy. First stop is unreachable. Of course it is, because I haven't done this. There we go. Nice, inexpensive modification. There we go. Get going. What I'm actually going to get you to do is I'm going to be very, very sneaky and say, oh, as soon as you're past this point, you're going to turn around and you're going to head in the opposite direction. Screech to a halt. That needs to be on wait until loaded, wait until unloaded, although I don't know why we'd ever need to wait until unload at the customs house, but it is what it is. Alright, cool. 24 workers. How many workers have we got coming in on this bus? 56. That's pretty darn good. Everyone seems reasonably happy. Everyone seems reasonably happy. Good. Are we within walking distance of a church? We are indeed within walking distance of a church. Looks fine. Looks fine. Kindergarten. Yes. Okay. So everything seems to be in fairly good check here over here. I mean, everything looks fine. Everything looks fine. Everything looks fine in the city of Kobe. Right. So you're just gonna chill out over here for a little bit. You're gonna fill up with a bunch of bitumen. Brilliant. That's what we like to see. All right. Do we need to have like alternating whether it picks up fuel or whether it picks up bitumen? That might be a good idea, actually. Yeah, okay, so what we'll do is we'll say, so, yeah, so after this, you can unload fuel here. Yeah, okay, just work with me on this one, folks. So you load 100% of anything, we load 100% of bitumen. We go over here, we unload 100% of bitumen. Oops. Unload 100% of bitumen. Then we come back to here, and we load up on 100% of fuel. So we have alternating trips between fuel and bitumen. But we want to make sure that wait until loaded is fully turned off. wait until unloaded can be turned on, although it doesn't need to be. Just so that as soon as you are ready to rock and roll, you can just go. Right? So we'll send you to here now. And you should be able to make some pretty good progress there. Brilliant. Wonderful. Very, very happy with that. Looking good. 48 tons of fuel. I mean, it's not much. 7,000 rubles. It's only 32 tons of bitumen. Gotta be said, only 32 tons of bitumen. And the important thing is that, I mean, it would take us thousands and thousands of planks in order to get that in planks. In order to get that amount of money in planks anyway, so there we go. Cool. So everyone's gonna get unloaded from this station over here. Unload the train fully. And the workforce is ready to come and make some fuel and some bitumen. That's right. We're all about that. All about that life. All about that refining life. Might I say. It's looking good. Looks like the refueling station seemed to work just fine. I think. I don't think there were any issues there. And look, we're gonna make our first oil money. I actually cannot believe it. We are gonna make our first oil money, and it's so unbelievably delightful. Uh-oh. Hold up. No, you should have been on this. No. No. This is not what I wanted. I wanted you to do this. Unload 100% of bitumen. Yes. Unload 100%. Hey, we're making money. We're actually making flippin' money. Can you believe it? Can you actually believe it? All right, brilliant. So that's gonna work just fine. 64 tons of fuel waiting to be picked up. That's fine. Also, probably a little bit. Yeah, probably a little bit in the refinery. 25 tons in the refinery as well. So a good amount of resource waiting there. 97 workers. Basically, each and every time, roughly 97 workers are being picked up. That's pretty good in my books. 20 workers without a job. Surprising, frankly, as they probably just haven't visited the train station yet, but that's okay. So, we're now fine for rubles. I say we're fine for rubles. We're not fine for rubles. What we're basically doing is we are using dollars to subsidize our ruble production. How are the forklifts doing over here? I mean, they've been doing better, haven't they? They really have been doing better. They ain't doing so hot at the moment. No, they're not. No, they are absolutely not. They are just going round and round in circles, loading the same tiny little bits of steel. And might I suggest, that is not a very good look. Oh, look, there's also hundreds and hundreds of them in this exact spot right here. But that doesn't matter. Anyway, that steel is going to be loaded up and sold. We're still making a fairly decent amount of steel. Yeah, let's go back to Grainski and check on the situation in Grainski. Now, yeah, we've got crops. We've got crops that are being moved directly into the grain storage now, which is brilliant. Which means, yes. The forklifts are able to move the grain to where it needs to go, which is fantastic, because that was what the goal was all along. Well, I say this was the primary goal. It wasn't the primary goal. It was the secondary goal, but it was the primary objective. Is that objective, goal, same thing, different thing? You tell me in the comments down below. Are a goal and an objective the same thing? I suspect the answer is probably yes, or at least it should be yes. Cool. So you're able to make 20 food per day, which is a pretty large amount, actually. There we go. Wonderful job. And this is, you know, this has got another great aspect to it, is the fact that we're now giving people in Kolski who don't have a job up in the mines, you know, we're allowing them to come and work here, which is brilliant. Very, very good. Very, very happy with that. Are we making steel still? Just let me check on steel production. We're missing iron. We just do need, we need more trains, don't we? We need more. Guys, we've talked about this. We've talked about this. Why are you not able to get through? How on earth is this not... Why are you stopped here? Well, why would you have a reason to stop? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Like, I fixed this issue before. Ah, goodness gracious me. You can never win, can you? Load 100% of coal. Load 100% of iron. Right. Okay. And you've got 100% of coal already. I say 100% of coal. 654 tons is not 100%, but it's about as close as we can get to 100%. Yeah, cool. We're going to go back to Grainsky in just a second. I just want to doubly check that, yep, you're looking good. You're going to head straight over here. Wonderful. It works like an absolute charm. And you've got, oh, actually, you've got 120 tons of fuel already. All right. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. That's 16,000 rubles. I mean, that's nothing to sniff at, frankly. That is nothing to sniff at. That is really rather good. 102 workers. Brilliant. Okay, so hopefully this is just going to chug along nicely. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I don't think we're going to... I don't foresee any issues with this. I mean, at least while we have dollars. Whilst we're still dollar positive, this whole process should work flawlessly, frankly. Should work absolutely flawlessly. Right. We're gonna make a few more rubles from that oil, from that fuel, which is about to arrive at the border, which is lovely. That gives us an opportunity to get some trucks. Now, I think I probably want to get a very limited amount of trucks, a very limited number of trucks. We need some, I think it's covered hull. It's covered hull for alcohol and food, and I believe it's a refrigerated truck. Refrigeration, yeah, that's the one. Refrigeration for meat. Cool. Let's buy one refrigerated truck. And then let's buy... Is that the biggest one? I think that is the biggest one. 6 tons, yeah. Pretty sure it's the biggest one. 6 tons of food. You carry 6.5 tons, 5 tons. I was 90% sure. I just wanted to make sure. Right. And then let's buy one more. Let's live dangerously. Right. So that's 3 trucks. 3 trucks. One of which is going to be the food truck. One of which is going to be the alcohol truck. And one of which is going to be the meat truck as well. Okay. Then we want to go over here. Unload 50%. 50%. 49%. Sure. 49%. 50%. I'm not super bothered. I'm not super bothered at all. But yeah, you are the food truck. So you go over there, and then after you've been to there, you're going to go all the way over to here. And we are going to unload 100% of anything that's left. There is a road connection in here. There is indeed a road connection over here. Great. How likely is this to work long term? Very unlikely. How likely is this to work short term? Mediocrely likely. The reason that I say mediocrely likely is that it's a heck of a long drive. It is a gargantuanly long drive. There's also no fuel station over here, so these guys might just get completely wrecked. In fact, no, there must be a fuel station over here. Yeah, there is a fuel station over here, so that'll be sorted then. Right, meat truck. Load 100% of anything. Wait until loaded. Yes. Then we're going to get you to go right over to the store. Unload 49%, 50%, whatever. And then we'll get you to head across to the supermarket. Ideally, in an ideal world, 2 ways of saying the exact same thing. We would like to have a bespoke delivery service, probably by train, actually, to the Petrograd shopping center. Purely because it takes a heck of a lot of resources to keep the town of Petrograd happy. And you can't just supply 1 truckload, or it's even half a truckload of meat, and pretend like that's enough. But you know what? It's all the money that we've got at the moment. I'm investing rather a lot. So there we go. I almost clicked on the school there. Delivering a truckload of alcohol to school probably wouldn't be the most advisable policy, but you never know. Right, where's the pub over here? Pub's over there. Brilliant. unload 100% of anything. Fantastic. Right, so we've now got 3 trucks. 3 trucks, each of which has a specialization. One takes alcohol, one takes other stuff. No workers over there. We got meat. We've got meat. We don't have a meat output at the moment, though. That's not going to be a problem. That's not going to be a problem, actually. We're not going to need a meat output. It'll just be transported by truck. Yeah, I mean, these guys are all limited to 35 kilometers an hour. Tell you what, how far out do the construction offices stretch over here? Let me have a little look. 3,000 meters. To be honest, we could probably do with upgrading all of this road to asphalt. I mean, if we're not doing anything else, right? I mean, if well, I say, not me, but if my construction offices aren't doing anything else, then I might as well get them to do it. In fact, I probably shouldn't do that. Let me not do that. Shouldn't have done that with dollars, but that's fine. Yeah, let's build a brand new asphalt road, so that we don't compromise the existing road. Oh, also, yeah, the existing road, oh, well, it currently doesn't exist, so that'll need to be fixed pretty sharpish to make sure that the good people of Potatograd can have their locally made alcohol, locally brewed alcohol. Right, is that a connection? That is indeed a connection. Okay, brilliant. Let's see if we can try and build an asphalt road. We'll run it parallel to the tracks to replace the old road, basically. Okay, connect it up over here. It's a pretty good place to start. There we go. Nice. And this should just allow things to move from place to place slightly quicker. Right. You know what? You can get to about here. And after that, I'm not super bothered. Because that's just about the range of the... thingamabobber. What the heck? Cancel a contract. Deconstruct the road. Doesn't matter anymore. I'm over it. Yeah. So, that will be an opportunity for the... Ditch that. That will be an opportunity for the construction offices to get to work. I don't really know if they're going to do anything about it straight away. What do they need? They need a bunch of gravel. Well, I mean, gravel is always around. I do import gravel. We're still making prefab panels, even though we don't really have any reason to make them anymore since we're not exporting them. And even if I wanted to export them, they're so garbagely cheap that it doesn't even make a difference. Man, we just need so much iron. We need so much iron. We need so much oil. We need so much of everything. But you know what? I do kind of feel like things are getting better. Ah, we're out of fuel. Let's turn around and go over yonder. We're out of fuel. What am I talking about? We're out of steel. Get this train to move to the next location. Whilst we're waiting for a little bit of iron to come through. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Dollars are not looking too bad. Rubles are looking a little bit dodgy. But that's okay. I can definitely live with that. That's definitely a curse that I can live with. Meat production, we cannot store or export meat. That's okay, because basically, even though we don't have a meat storage area, we still have a livestock area, so we're not going to waste that production. You know, whenever the meat truck arrives, we're going to be able to slaughter as much meat as we need to pretty instantly, and it'll all work out. So that's what I'm kind of banking on. Anyway, how are my trucks doing? Pub, you do not have any... Ah, you're about to pick up for the first time. You are about to pick up for the first time as well. And you're going to need to wait for a couple of workers to come into the slaughterhouse and get some meat slaughtered for you. But that should take, you know, a minimal amount of time. There we go. A few more bits of livestock created. A few more bits of meat. And you are almost full of alcohol as well. Brilliant. So, where did the truck go that was responsible for picking up food? Oh, you've already got your load. Well, that's wonderful. Congratulations. I would strongly advise that you take a little filling stop over here, but that's okay. Brilliant. So you're gonna come and unload. There you go. A little bit of food there. Fantastic. It works. It works like an absolute charm. You are unable to get to where you need to go because there's a little bit of a break in the road. Oh yeah, it's my bad. It's a good thing that was caught. Otherwise, that might not have been so great. Also, I know I haven't used one-way roads yet. I don't understand. I don't understand how you're not able to move up into this block. Like, physically, I just don't understand why this train is unable to move into this block. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, it's confusing. It's super confusing. Right. Whatever the case. Anyway, so, yes. Now we know that all of the... What the heck is this little house doing on this little peninsula over here? Weird. Now we know that everything is going well in Grainski. We're going to have a lot of excess grain. We're going to have a lot of grain that's going to be turned into food, alcohol, or meat that just can't be transported, at least not yet, not until we get some extra transport capacity. But that's not probably going to happen for a little while until we've got a few more rubles. Ruble-wise, I mean, I'm not actually entirely unhappy with the situation. Our flippin' oil refinery is doing a brilliant job, an absolutely brilliant job. We've got a lot of bitumen, which is great. We're unloading fuel semi-regularly, which is really, really nice. And now it's just a case of making sure that we spend these dollars as wisely as we possibly can to get a few more extra resources, bits and bobs in place. I don't want to quite yet stop importing goods from Soviet countries, i.e., I don't want to stop importing food. If we stop importing food, alcohol, and clothes and meat and stuff like that, if we were to stop doing that right now, then that would cause a little bit of a problem. If indeed we ran out of stuff. But how did we do last month, actually? Let me have a little look. Last month we were at a net loss of 19,000 rubles. Net loss of $61,000. How much did we actually import? 48,000 worth of oil, basically. Fine. Import of resources, mostly food and a bit of gravel. That's not ideal. But that should be reduced somewhat. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about my gravel expenditure, but I don't need to worry about that too much at this moment in time. Okay, we got some more coal coming through. Toot toot. Looking good. And I tell you what, we're even going to make a lovely express superhighway, which is brilliant. Are my trucks able to get to where they need to go? They are indeed. Look at this. Look at this. Trekking across the wilderness. Undoubtedly, you are going to run out of fuel halfway. There is no way that you won't. Also, is there not a chance that I'm able to make just like a much more direct road? I mean, I kind of feel like I can, right? I kind of feel like I absolutely can. This might be a little bit far away from the construction office. Yeah, I mean, looking at the wireframe, I do get the sneaking suspicion that this will be a challenging area to navigate. Do I really care that much about shaving a couple of seconds off the route of a food truck? Not particularly. I do care about speeding up the maximum speed that these trucks can go at, which is why I'm so keen to make sure that we've got at least half the area properly paved. You've got 6.5 tons of alcohol. Brilliant. You're going at the max speed that you can, which is 35 kilometers an hour. That's not too bad. Good. Oh, we just need iron, and coal. I think probably one of the next things that we need to think about is just getting a brand new train. Yep, I think straight up we need to think about getting a brand new train. Also, what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove that from your schedule. And then as soon as you arrive at the stop, I'm going to put you back onto full iron production. Full iron movement, not production. The train does none of the production. It just does all of the movement. Right. Get you in here. Yeah, you'll probably be able to unload pretty much everything. There we go. And let's ditch that stop and let you get back on your merry way around. I mean, I'm still optimistic. Still very, very optimistic. We're definitely making money. We're definitely making money. We're up to 83,000 rubles. I mean, that's a good show of force. It's a good show of force. It's a good proof of concept that this is actually working. 120 tons of bitumen. That looks like a full load to me. Pretty much a full load. In fact, we're doing so well that we're probably going to need to find some other way to export our fuel. I.e., we're probably going to need to get ourselves a secondary cart on this train here. A secondary wagon, even. Looking good. It's brilliant. 24,000 rubles. 24,000 rubles for a mere, whatever it is, $8,000. It's not much. It's not much in dollars, but it's definitely worth it. There's still, there's oil. Oil is just so far away. That's the real problem. It's so far away. I mean, this is the nearest oil over here on this island. Right down here. Let me have a little look at the feasibility. Can I even see? I can barely even see, Kobe. I mean, building a railway out over here is going to be a challenge, to say the least. Yeah, the oil out here isn't even that great. This is a very weakly oil-rich area. I mean, oil that we produce by ourselves, you know, undoubtedly, it's cheaper, better economically. How on earth are we going to transport it all the way over here? I just don't get it. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, train is the obvious method. It's the only method that actually makes sense. It's the only method that we can, in fact, deploy. There's no other option, really. It has to be train. Or boat, I guess. It could be a boat, although a boat, whatever boat we choose, it has to be the 3.5 million ruble boat. And let me just give you a little bit of a snapshot of our financial position at this very moment in time. We ain't got 3.5 million rubles. It's just not what we've got. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm positive. I'm upbeat. I think we're gonna do it. I think what we probably just do is we set up a brand new railway. I think that's what we have to do, right? It has to be done. But we'll get to that in the next episode, because that's it for now, ladies and gents. Thanks as ever to my fantastic supporters over on Patreon. Help make videos like this possible. It really is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. I've been Over the Potato, and I'll see you next time. Bye.